Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be trying my hand at a seasonal TBR. I've been toying with the idea of making seasonal TBRs as opposed to monthly TBRs. For the purpose of this video, these are books that I'm planning on reading in January, February, and March. January is kind of coming to a close, so I guess it's more books that I'm going to be reading in February and March, but anyway, here we go. So first is a book that I really have been dying to get to since it came out last year, but I just never did. So I'm definitely planning on changing that, and that is American Royals by Katharine McGee. I actually just kind of made plans to buddy read this with Heather from Bookables, but this is like an alternate kind of history novel. It takes place in the present, but it explores what would have happened if George Washington was our king as opposed to our president. So it follows like George Washington's descendants in the current day. So we're following Princess Beatrice, who is getting ready to become the Queen Regent, and then we are also following a set of twins, Princess Samantha and Prince Jefferson. Prince Beatrice is obviously the one that is like more important because they're getting her ready to take over the throne. Princess Samantha just doesn't really care about anything, and she is like, I'm gonna do whatever I want because no one cares about me anyway. So I think she's probably like the wild child of this book. It just sounds like it's going to be really fun. I love a good royal novel, and I also really love this cover. I think that's definitely what first attracted me to it, and I really enjoyed The Thousandth Floor by Katharine McGee. I actually want to go back and finish that series because I only read the first book in it, but I do remember really enjoying it, so I'm curious to see this new story that she's doing, and I think this is the first in I want to say it's a duology, and the second one should be coming out this year. And then while I'm talking about royals, another one that I really want to get to is The Royal We by Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan. They are the bloggers behind the celebrity gossip site Go Fug Yourself. F-U-G, just so that I can distinguish that. People seem to really be obsessed with this story. It's basically like Kate Middleton follows a girl who's like a normal girl, and then she meets a prince. They fall in love with each other. It's all about her dealing with the rest of the British royal family, like not accepting her and giving her a really hard time and like not wanting her to really join the family. I've heard like rave reviews about it from people who have read it. It was written quite a few years ago, but the sequel is finally coming out this year. Later, I want to say in June. So this is like high priority for me. I definitely want to read it before that sequel comes out. Then my brother-in-law and sister-in-law gave me a copy of My Dear Hamilton by Stephanie Dray and Laura Comoy. This is an historical fiction novel, and it's following Eliza Schuyler, and it's all about her story, obviously meeting Hamilton and stuff, but also about her role in the American Revolution, and focuses on her as a person, not just her as a side character in Hamilton's story. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I love the musical Hamilton so much, just like everyone else, but I still like listen to the music nonstop. So this definitely drew my attention in because I do think that Eliza had a much bigger role, and I can't wait to see exactly what it was. Then I guess I'm just gonna do things in theme here. So another historical fiction novel that I'm also planning to get to is Meet Me in Monaco by Hazel Gaynor and Heather Webb. This one totally attracted me because it's about Grace Kelly, and I have not seen any historical fiction novels that are based on Grace Kelly, and she was like such an iconic person in history, so I'm really looking forward to getting to learn more about her through their eyes. I'm sure there will be some, fiction mixed in there, but I do appreciate how closely historical fiction usually does stay to the actual story. And I also really like that this novel is coming at Grace's story from the friendship perspective. So she's pretty much trying to get rid of like a very aggressive paparazzi, and she ends up hiding out in this store, and her and the store owner end up becoming really good friends, and it follows their friendship over the course of 30 years. And it's also, I guess, still in theme too, that it's gonna follow Grace Kelly's royal wedding to the Prince of Monaco. Then last historical fiction book on my list, and it's actually a historical romance, is It Happened One Autumn by Lisa Kleypas. This is the second book in the Wallflower series. I read the first one back in December, and I really enjoyed it, and I've been dying to continue the series, so I'm gonna do that. I also really want to read The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman. This one follows a character named Nina who grew up thinking that she didn't really have any family, but then when her father passes away, she finds out that she actually has a huge family and that her father knew about her, and it's all about her like integrating with them and trying to get to know the family that she never knew growing up. I don't know too much about it outside of that. I believe it's set in LA, and I've heard really good things about it from some of my friends who've read it, So I've been quite looking forward to getting to this one. I'm also planning on reading Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. This is the second book in the Hot and Hammered series. The first one was Fix Her Up. So this one is following, it's a companion, so it's following a different set of characters, but we did meet them in the first book. I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was really fun, and it takes place on Long Island, which I enjoy since that's where I grew up. So I'm quite excited for this one. It's one that I definitely have heard mixed things about because we're following a couple that's already married and trying to work on their marriage as opposed to two people like getting together for the first time. But I think that could be really interesting because I do like seeing that in books. So I'm excited to give it a shot. I'm also hoping to read We Used to Be Friends by Amy Spalding. I actually went to the event for this book at Books of Wonder. She had a co-event with Emery Lord. Hearing her speak about it just got me so interested. Like, I was immediately drawn to it because it's all about a friendship breakup, and I love that that's actually the focus of the story instead of like a side plot to something else, because that's something that like pretty much everyone experiences in their life, and I just can't wait to see how she did it. I also really like that she gives you both perspectives, so it's kind of unbiased, although it seems like there is probably a clear villain in this story. And then the one thing that just like sealed the deal for me is that Amy said that it's loosely based on the last 5 years, so like structure wise. So we're following one perspective that's being told in linear order from the beginning of the friendship to the end of the friendship, and then the other perspective is being told backward. So we're being told the end of the friendship leading up to the beginning of the friendship, and I imagine they'll cross over in that midway point there. And I just can't wait to see how that's done. I think it has the potential to be like a new favorite. Another new book that I want to read that I currently have on hold at the library is Followers by Megan Angelo, and I believe it's kind of like a sci-fi novel, but it's probably sci-fi light from what I've read. It takes place far in the future. It's either 2150 or 2050, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is basically just a huge examination of social media and influencers, and it sounds super fascinating. I find all of that stuff to be so interesting, so I've been really looking forward to reading this one. I've been like counting down to the release date, and I just can't wait until it comes off hold because I think it's going to be fascinating. Then I want to read Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. I realized that I did not read very many thrillers like at all in 2019, and I really enjoy thrillers, so I want to get back into some of them. And this is actually a series where there are 4 books that are currently out, so there's quite a bit of material, but my mom actually read them and she loved them, so I'm really excited to read them too. I actually gave them to her for, I can't remember if it was Christmas like 2 years ago or for her birthday. I had heard such good things about it on BookTube. My mom loves thrillers, so I gave these to her and she was addicted, and she gave them back to me because she was like, you need to read them, and they've just been sitting on my shelf and I think I need to get to them like ASAP. Then I'm also making an effort to read some nonfiction books because I did not read very many of those last year. I only read one, and I really want to get to some more of them. So I'm trying to read at least one a month. If I read more than that, that would be awesome. But at the moment, my plan is to read one a month. So the 3 that I have for the winter: Quiet by Susan Cain. This was actually a gift from my sister-in-law Molly, and I'm so excited because this book is all about introverts, and I've been dying to read it for years and I don't know why I haven't, but now I finally have a copy, and I feel like because I'm an introvert, I'm going to be really interested in the science of introversion, and I just think it's going to be something that's going to make me feel very seen. Also help me maybe understand more about myself. Like, I think I know myself pretty well, but something might surprise me, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I also want to read Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. This was actually supposed to be my January book because it is supposed to be very inspiring. Alexa and Rachel both already read it and both of them loved it, so I picked it up on their recommendation. It was on Book Outlet for like pretty cheap, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's all about because I really don't know too much about it except that the title is pretty inspiring. And then the last book that I want to read is I Like to Watch by Emily Nussbaum, and this is basically a collection of pop culture essays all about different television shows. I am someone that loves watching TV, like I'm sure a lot of other people people do too, but I much prefer watching a television show over a movie because I feel like you get so much more character depth and so much more time to like get to know these people. So I'm really interested in reading Emily's collection of essays. I think that she's going to touch upon some popular shows that I enjoyed, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Actually, so I was just reading it on Goodreads, and now I am so much more excited for this book because apparently Emily is the person that actually created the approval matrix that was at the end of New York Magazine. I was obsessed with New York Magazine when I was in college. Like, that was my first experience living in New York City and kind of immersing myself in my surroundings. And New York Magazine is a magazine that I would never miss an issue. Like, I lived for the day that New York Magazine came out. I followed their online blogs religiously, and the approval matrix was one of my favorite things that they had in there. So there you have it. That is like a sampling of all of the books that I'm hoping to read over the winter season. Probably get to some more than these, but these are a bunch that I really have like my sights set on for right now. So let me know if you've read anything that I've mentioned, anything that I should kind of like move to the top of the pile, although some of them will depend on my library loans and when they will come off hold. But yeah, that's all that I have for this video. So I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!